is my evidence compelling that Jimmy Garoppolo is a goner? For people who don't know, I did a video yesterday saying the Niners are not bringing back Jimmy Garoppolo, and my evidence is that this thing called Quarterback Collective that Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers assistant coaches are very closely affiliated with retweeted an article from Sports Illustrated on November 5th saying that basically the Niners don't need Jimmy Garoppolo and they'll be just fine without him. That's the backdrop. Did I take a giant leap there? What do you think, Maverick?
Well, I had not heard of QB Collective before yesterday. I don't know if that was a fault of mine, but I was looking for
I hadn't either.
Yeah.
I hadn't either.
A lot of pro Sean McVay tweets, so there's definitely at least some attachment there, and a lot of Brandon Staley tweets, who I believe's on their staff as well.
Okay.
And so a lot of Rams connections, but then there's Shanahan tweets as well. And I think there's an argument to be had that the second part of that tweet was the reason for the retweet, where it's basically praising Shanahan. But I've thought Garoppolo and the 49ers marriage was over since that Seattle game we've been saying for a while. So, and you were on it much earlier than I was. I was one of the stragglers for Garoppolo. But
hey, if the cap were going up next year, I think he'd probably be on the team still. So, it's actually kind of I think the pandemic might be pushing him out the door as much as anything. So don't be hard on yourself, Maverick. Do you think this is compelling, or do you think that it was already written on the wall before this retweet?
I think it's a piece of evidence. It's not the damning piece of evidence, but it is a piece of evidence that anyone could take for what it's worth, what they want to do with it.
Yeah. So what was interesting about that to me was not only the Quarterback Collective retweeting it, but then the details inside the article, the 5 quarterbacks that they listed. I'll go through them again: Kirk Cousins, Matt Ryan, Dak Prescott, Sam Darnold, Derek Carr. Very interesting group of quarterbacks. I went through my ranking yesterday. How would you rank those 5 in terms of desirability for the 49ers and fit and all this thing?
I think Dak would be the most desirable. Are we doing? Because I think you threw contracts out, right? For your rankings, or are they included?
Let's include them in this one. Let's include them.
If Dak's under $35 million, I'd say Dak is number 1. If he's above 35, it pushes him down.
Sure.
And I think Shanahan would rank Kirk Cousins higher than most people, but
true.
I think the 49ers would need a deep threat then. Justin.
Do you think Shanahan would rank Cousins number 1 of those 5?
It was Dak, Cousins, Derek Carr, Sam Darnold, and then who was the 5th? Stafford?
Matt Ryan.
Oh, Matt Ryan. I'd say maybe 1 or 2.
Okay.
Because I think, especially with how the 49ers offensive line is played, and the most recent Falcons game I watched from start to finish was the one against the Saints a couple weeks ago, where I think Matt Ryan got sacked 6 or 7 times. He couldn't avoid the rush for his life, and that was kind of what powered the Saints to being a good defense again. So I don't think Ryan would succeed behind this line.
We're getting some people in the comment section saying Dak is too expensive, and to which I would say, agree. If he wants 35, if he wants more than Jimmy Garoppolo is making, that $27 million, I don't think the Niners have it in their salary structure to pay more than that for a quarterback right now. I don't think they can do it. I don't know.
Trent Williams would have to take a pay cut to come back if they were able to afford Dak.
So maybe given what's available, maybe you could say Dak Prescott's disqualified. He's too expensive for what the Niners have available. Maybe the best option left is Derek Carr, who's an intriguing option. I consider him a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo. Although something about Derek Carr, that's something about his personality that I just think rubs people the wrong way.
I could see the Derek Carr detractors. I unfortunately have started Derek Carr way too many times in fantasy this year, so he's an enemy of mine, at least for 2020. But Derek Carr, I think he has a lot of positives, but he's in that 15 to 20 range. I think 13 of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, 13 is his peak. And that's where he'll be when he's really on fire. But then you get games like against Atlanta where the whole offense was lost. But the Raiders would have to acquire a pretty good quarterback, I think, to move on from Carr. It's not like his contract is the worst contract in the NFL. So if Marcus Mariota wins this next weekend against Miami, and they really fall in love with Mariota, then Carr could be on the way out, but I still think Carr's their guy in 2021.
Yeah. That's fine. As long as they don't go with Matt Ryan or Sam Darnold. Because to me, Matt Ryan's too old and Sam Darnold's too bad. He stinks. He's a backup who has a bunch of hype because he went to USC, but he's not going to be a starter anymore after this year. I think, my opinion.
I think Darnold needs to go somewhere with a veteran quarterback where he'll sit behind. On ESPN, the hot topic is him going to Pittsburgh and being behind Roethlisberger for a year, and that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I think he'll definitely be better without Gase, but I don't think he'll be top 5 overall draft pick worthy when his career is set and done.
I wonder if Pittsburgh will be interested in Sam Darnold because they have a very good sense of players. I mean, if they bring him in, that means there's something there with Darnold, and I think he's kind of a lemon. I'll be interested to see who is interested in him. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. He did go 7-6 last year. He's just been, and I guess it's not all his fault there. Okay, maybe Sam Darnold would be better than what the Niners have right now. He just seems like a lot like C.J. Beathard to me.
I think they would have to give up a draft pick that's not worthy of giving up for Darnold.
Yeah.
Where I think what he is better than at Mullins isn't worth like giving up a 3rd-round pick for Sam Darnold, which I think he'll be a 3rd or a 4th.
If they cut him, sign him up. Give him a ham sandwich.